A fan.
What if I just lower my seat and feel like a child?
There you
Yeah,
go.
that'll.
Look, bad guy, I put you.
This is my time. I'm on the rise. Can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time. Ready to shine. Brighter than all of the lights. Cause when it's game time, seconds away and the game's on the line. There ain't no doubt in my mind. Beating the buzzer like, this is my time. This is my moment. You better bet that I'm on it. Ready and set, I'ma own it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Be Stellar podcast. I'm your host, Stella Atwood. This is mom producer Meredith Atwood, and on today's episode, we have Griffin Roelle. Yay!
Yay.
So,
My hands are full of
Griffin.
bruised saliva now.
Oh,
That's
there he
gross.
goes in the background.
Oh, so Griffin's my coach. Some people might know that. Some people might not know that. This episode's going to be getting to know him and then a wrap up of my games experience. So Griffin has been my coach for the last 2 years. I started CrossFit as an 8-year-old and came to Griffin after a larger training camp. I have been very motivated to get better, but could not find the one-on-one attention and coaching I desperately needed to get better. Luckily, I reached out to CrossFit Dball, and one of the owners, Corinne Francis, introduced me to Griffin. So I'd like to start there, Griffin. Can you talk a little bit about the last 2 years and when I told you that I wanted to someday win the games, why you have proven it is important for teen athletes, especially me, to have one-on-one instruction, not just a training plan?
Do you want my professional answer? Or do you want my Griffin answer?
Dude, I don't care. Give us both.
All right. Well, we'll start with
What's
why
the
it's.
difference?
Oh, it's much different.
Okay, well, let's hear both of them.
Well, it's in how I say things, right? It's like essentially being PC or politically coaching. No, that's not enough.
I don't know. Just
Politically
give
correct coaching.
advice.
Yeah. Honestly, like for teens, they're the most malleable, right? At your time, like development wise, especially because like you went through a massive growth spurt, right? And all of a sudden you don't move your body as well, and positions change, your musculature changes, your bone structure is changing. So like all these things come into play when understanding how to tell your body what you want to do, right? So if you start out and you don't have a coach, like, and that's fine, most kids do. But if you're not moving properly, if every rep doesn't look the same, there's going to be a big issue down the road. A lot of things like you see right now are athletes, especially at the big level, their knees are caving and like they call it a knee valgus. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's normal. Well, it is normal, but that doesn't mean it should be normalized.
Hmm.
It should be fixed. And that's just because of a muscular imbalance. So there's like that's just a prime like a little example of why like little things can be changed. And it's so easy to change early on. Once you're set in your ways and your body is developed a certain way, it's really hard to go back and change those things. And you can, and you need to rebuild it, which I have to do with some of my older and master's level athletes. And it takes a lot longer. But it really will help with the longevity of the sport. It will, on the mental side, it's going to help start creating how you're supposed to think about this sport. And the sport's different than all other sports, because normally you train in the gym for a sport. You are training to compete in the same thing. And it is entirely different. And then a lot of people, which we have an issue now with, is that most athletes put their entire being into a leaderboard. Um, and they'll, like we have this whole mental health side of CrossFit going on right now, which is a very, very important thing. But the thing is, they'll tell you like, hey, like you aren't worth what you are on the leaderboard. And that is true. However, we identify ourselves with the things that we do every day. Like that is who we are. So when they tell you who you are isn't the leaderboard, yes. However, like if someone was to tell me like as a football player, that's not who you are as growing up, I'd have been like, shut the hell up. Yes, it is. Right. And then you literally identify and you literally put your self-worth in how good you are at that sport because that's what you do every day. So like having a coach to help kind of work through all these little pieces of how to think through this is really important, just so you're not having a lot of depressive episodes, or you're able, really just so you're able to move forward with a very strong mentality about the sport, how to go about the sport, how to approach each training session, if this is what you really want to do. And even outside of that, learning to go through intensity and adversity, right? You're having to do hard things both inside and outside, and understanding like, look, that's what life is. And being able to have someone to kind of mentor you through that makes a really, really big difference. For like the longevity of life, and then also just being able to be a normal human being. But yeah, that's my PCC way of answering that.
And the Griffin way.
The other way?
It's much shorter.
You were a mess, Stella.
I was the first time.
Stella had some issues, and we had to fix a lot of them, and we had then go back after we fixed them and continue to fix them, aka no bar muscle up Mondays.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, just Stella forgetting how to do bar muscle ups on a Monday is
I would like not get bar muscle ups on Mondays, and I'd be like, it's because it's Monday.
Bar muscle up
That's why
Monday.
I'm not getting them. But if it was
I've lost
Tuesday,
them.
I would. I've lost them. Like
you
that
didn't
was like
lose
a year
them.
ago. That was a year ago. I don't say that anymore.
That was
You
like
literally said that up until like February
I
or
was
March.
like, yes, Stella.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Okay.
Not really.
I mean, kind of. September.
You really didn't turn the corner on bar muscle ups until like a month ago.
It's true. They were like a mystery thing. It was like mystery meat. Like, let's go into the gym and open up the box today and see what's in there. And
What
maybe
you
there's
might
bar
say is
muscle ups.
Stella had silent beef with bar muscle ups.
Griffin. I'm not gonna explain that. Not gonna explain the silent beef to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to.
It's
It's an inside
silent.
joke.
Yeah.
It's silent. Yeah. That's the glorious part about that. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, there's a lot of things. You came over, like, so you are a hypermobile athlete, and unfortunately what that means is you don't know how to move your body in end ranges. And a lot of coaches in CrossFit probably have no idea how to fix that. And a lot of things that we've done are a lot of closed chained exercises, and a lot of tactile feedback. And that's what works for you. And then you have to repeat it over and over and over again. And there are plenty of coaches that could have figured that out. I don't know how many in CrossFit. I don't know how many actually pay attention to those types of things. I also have to hear it from my mother all the time. Stella needs to do this. I'm like, Mom, I know.
Let's talk about your mom. Why is your mom telling you what to do? I mean, besides being mom.
She's
Talk
my
about
mom.
Katie.
No. Yeah, well, she's a very bright woman. She was a professional ballet dancer, and then she teaches Pilates. She's a master's Pilates instructor, so a lot of the Pilates instructors in the area are taught from her, and they got their instruction and their certifications through her. And I mean, I would like, if anyone asked me like how to fix someone, like I'm sending them to her. She's really smart. She's done it I don't even know how many years at this point. 40.
I mean, how old
35?
are you? Yeah, older than you, right?
Yeah, right. So it's been she's been doing it for a really long time and continually got better, and she studies it and wants to get better at that. And she works with various different of like clients. There's ranged from teens to 85-year-olds. So she'll tell me what I need to be doing, or she'll start with, I know you probably know this. But then she needs to say it anyway, which is fine. But if I ever have questions, I ask her for certain things. So she's very helpful in that. But yeah, that's why she's telling me. She's a master of understanding proprioception and how to tell your body what to do. Spell that, Stella. Proprioception.
Nope.
We apparently have spelling Mondays now. It's a
Ooh, we
contest.
should.
Day.
Spelling Mondays.
No, I'm literally not gonna show up to the gym on Mondays.
You remember how to spell Potawatomi?
No.
Isn't it like pterodactyl?
Oh yeah. Can you spell pterodactyl now?
Don't recall. Doesn't it start with like a silent letter?
Yes.
You have
P.
silent beef with pterodactyl.
Hmm.
What were
Yeah.
we saying?
Next question. Do you have a question? Do you have a list of questions for
I
Griffin?
do have a
Or
list of questions. Let's go back to Stella at the beginning. Griffin, what were your first impressions of my 12-year-old self?
13,
13. Was I
right?
13? No, I was
Right?
12.
Mm,
No,
Yeah?
no.
you were 13 because you hadn't entered the category yet.
Yeah, because you're 15 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13.
I don't know 12-year-old Stella.
Think of a little bit worse technique and, not being able to do like toast bar at all.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Well, you didn't really like to tell me a lot of things, so it was hard at first. I only had to go off of assuming that you, and again, we all know how you people get with assumptions. Um, assuming that you had a lot more prerequisite things that I was hoping for, coming from another training camp, but that you didn't, and we had to rebuild, not rebuild, we had to just start from scratch on learning how to do a lot of this stuff, which was fine. So, but I didn't know that coming into it. However, like assessment wise, mobility like it's overly perfect in the sense of like, because you're hypermobile, we have to actually strengthen you in certain areas, not get more mobile, right? So that was a little bit more new because like boys are not like that typically. Um, plus boys are dumber at that age. I mean, they're
Still are.
dumber at all ages,
Yeah.
so whatever. Uh, and then on the side of like the sport, I don't think I had met someone I thought like couldn't like that liked CrossFit as much as you did. Um, because like I love football. I love sports with reaction and playing with an object, right? CrossFit's just like a training tool for me for my other sport. That's how it's still in my brain. But you like love the sport itself, which is just for me is always a little hard to understand because it just hurts. Um, but I think that it opened my mind more to like how much someone can care about this because it comes like it's a different perspective for me because I did it because I wanted to see if I could become a professional in another sport and just say, hey, like let's see if we can do this. But you just really enjoy it. So it really changed like how I approached coaching you in the sport. Because if you love it that much, then you're not trying to just make it and burn out and quit. You want to go there for the long haul. So we have to adjust a lot of those things. So there's a lot, it was all over the place. The initial assessment was all over the place. But also I hadn't met a parent that was as involved in a child in CrossFit before, right? So like you see that in like football, baseball for sure here, but you don't see it in CrossFit. So that was super important as well because in this sport, since it's newer, having parents and family members that are super interested and supportive of it is very important.
And I think we didn't realize, I mean, I always felt like I was an odd one in that regard, but since we've talked to a lot more teens, there's usually is like the elite level teens, the games athlete, there's some crazy parent like me usually in the equation with all of them.
But that's normal. That's normal in
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
Truly normal.
Okay,
You're not super crazy like them.
Yeah, you're not crazy.
I mean, I am a little crazy,
A
but
little
that's
bit,
okay.
but you're not like,
It's not
oh my
offensive.
God, Meredith is insane. She's crazy. People don't say that. Every time I'm at the gym and my mom's not there, people are like, where's Meredith? Where's Meredith? Not here.
Yeah, they're not like, how are you doing, Stella? Where's Meredith?
It's just like the first question. Where's Meredith? How about where's Stella? Stella's here. Hi.
Where's thing one to thing two? Or thing
Wait,
two
which
to
thing am I? I'm thing one.
I don't know. Whatever one you want to be.
You give off thing two vibes.
Oh, shut up. You always want to make me ET out of ET and Elliot too. I get it. I'll be thing two and ET. It's fine.
Okay. Let's talk about the games. What were your thoughts on the workouts, or what was good about them, or what was lacking in the workouts?
Well, this could take a while, so I'll try to keep it short. Um, I think they did a good job for the first time. There's a ton of room for improvement across the board. I thought the workouts individually themselves were good. I don't think that it encompassed enough fitness that it needed to at this stage. Um, the time domains were fine. However, as you saw the workouts released first, it didn't look like they had tested them. For instance, I'll give an example. One of the workouts was written for time as 5 rounds. It would have taken most girls 40 minutes in the AMRAP, and it turned into a 16-minute AMRAP. So there was no need to write it like that. Again, that could just be semantics. But again, I like perfection at the sense of the game's level. That's what this is supposed to be. Didn't really affect anything, but I think a lot of the girls had no idea, and they were like 5 rounds and assumed it was going to be like that. And it really turned out to be 2 rounds. Some girls got the third. But 5 rounds is like, it's over twice the volume. I think they truly missed out on a few parts of CrossFit, especially when you look at the definition of CrossFit and how they coach and they teach things. You missed out on being on handstand push-ups. It doesn't handstand walking is different. It's pressing versus stability, and a gymnastic, right? They're both gymnastics, but they're in different ways. And at the games, you always see some version of handstand push-ups needed to be tested. I mean, I'm also a person that doesn't like handstand push-ups, get rid of them entirely from the sport, but that's in the definition of CrossFit, so that's not going anywhere. I don't like breaking my neck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it could be too that it was in there and it got pulled out as well.
Could have.
Safety.
It could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is a dumb idea. It is a dumb.
It is and it isn't. Like it is and it isn't. Sports are stupid. They are. They really are. So
it's just like your neck, your C4.
It's one of those things that like I'm gonna say is dumb, but I'm also gonna do it, and I'm not really gonna bitch about it because it's a part of the sport, right? It's it's a gymnastic. It's in yoga. You're not doing a million reps, right? I think like strict is probably fine. Kipping could get nixed, or just a high deficit of kipping, because then you won't you can't crash on your neck or you're not gonna go back up. But just normal basic kipping handstand push-ups, I just don't think are general good for the body. But anyway, that's a off topic. They should have been in there. They're not, as I'm saying, I hate them. The run was good. I thought it was cool. Unfortunately, like we couldn't swim this year. I think it's still important to make sure that we have the necessary safety precautions to go swim, because swimming should be a part of the sport. It should not go away. Being a really good runner doesn't mean you're a good swimmer, and vice versa. You need to be well balanced in that. So I didn't like that was gone, but I also understood it entirely. And then obviously that we had to make adjustments for day one because of the Dball workout. It does change, obviously not being in the dirt versus in the gym, but again, needed to be changed for the weather. I just think that there's a few spots that they missed. I don't think they needed to put the ring muscle up workout at the end of the weekend. I understand you're programming for all of these teens, but they are still not at the same skill level and musculature as those that are like above 18 years old. And doing that ring muscle up workout at the end of the weekend is really like, you just had all these girls not really being able to do them. So the finale wasn't a finale. It was kind of like a, right? Like the handstand walk elimination workout could have worked as the finale. Because then you still kind of get cuts if you wanted to still do it that way, or even the thruster workout. Really cool way to finish out the weekend. But we started the day with that. So like reordering the way the workouts are done. I also don't think at y'all's age you needed to test bar muscle ups, rope climbs, and ring muscle ups at the same event. We're literally just putting all of this. We're putting a lot more percentage of testing into that one area over the course of all the volume and different things that we're supposed to be testing. So I think we missed out on that. Well, obviously we did test a lift event, which was good. I just still am not a fan of doing 2 lifts only. It doesn't allow, like, there's a reason to do it. I just don't think we only get so many opportunities at the games, and especially for a spectator sport. I don't think 2 lifts is just cool. I don't think it's right. I think there's a better way to do it, is the best way to put it. Give the kids or whoever's lifting 3 opportunities. Or if you don't want to just do the total, you can make it a total, but it's a buy-in of, if you want it like every 2 minutes, whatever, you have to do 3 bar muscle ups, and then you can then go hit a lift. And if you get whatever, right? Like you can make it more balanced if you don't like having a solely lifting event. But 2 lifts, it gets a little dangerous in the sense of, like, we timed you out and it was 20 minutes from the time you warmed up to the first lift you did. You're welcome. That's why we practice.
Okay.
20 minutes.
Or a time domain, right? Like,
Yeah.
10 minutes to max, whatever. Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just give more opportunity than 2 lifts, because it really pressures, especially at your age. I get it. It's a games and sportsmanship event. You have to strategize well. I get that. But there were girls dropping the bar on their head.
Yeah. And making really bad moves.
And making really bad decisions. Yeah, because they've never practiced not lifting.
And opening up in the clean and jerk way too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't know what it would feel like.
Yep.
Nope.
Like you haven't warmed up your clean and jerk in 30 minutes.
And the thing that I was so proud of you, Stella, that you made your 4 lifts, and Griffin and, y'all had practiced that and you did exactly what you went out there to do. But I was slightly annoyed at the end of it because I'm like, girl had a 215 clean and jerk in her that day. You know what I mean? It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then 190 should have not looked like that.
But then that's strategy, right?
Right. The way that event will always go, if you do really well, you're always going to go, I should have lifted more. That's how it goes when you do really well in this event. Yeah. No one's like, oh, I nailed this thing. That's just not how it goes, because you always feel like you could have done more. And that's the sport and strategy of it. So I get it. Right. But I don't think that needed to be the time or place to do this, especially at this age. Mm-hmm. Again, this is very detailed. It's fine. Maybe not for the girl that dropped the bar on her head, but CTE.
Yeah, we actually just talked to her.
Well, there was a couple. There was one in your heat, Stella, 2 platforms down, but then Elsie Larson did it on
the bad one where she drops it on her upper back.
But then she was super interesting too, because hers came down to strategy. Like, her coach put a 25-pound jump on the bar and it was 20 pounds over her best, and she made it. It's like, way to go. Like, there's your strategy, but that's so risky. And I don't know, but I guess that was part of it. Right.
Yeah. It's a bad idea. Like, again, we're talking about longevity of the sport. Probably not the smartest time to do that. You can get hurt. You can get hurt not lifting a bar for 20 minutes. Like, that's just not smart. So in reality, they could have for sure done a better job of because what I was told, and we asked, how long is it going to be between when you touch your bar and getting out on the floor? Again, you have to wait a certain amount of time before it's your turn, but it should have been 5 minutes before you guys were you should have been on your platforms within 5 minutes.
It's because they would line us up and they would rebrief the whole workout, and then we would walk out into tunnel, wait a second. And then, I don't think they needed to rebrief in the back area, but.
And if they have an issue with, and this is a suggestion, they have an issue with, hey, they're younger, we need to rebrief so we don't have any problems out there and make this run smoother. Cool. Allow the coaches to go out. They can't go out on the floor, but they can go out kind of like we did in the last event to help you guys on the rings. And we can talk it through with you. Right. Mm-hmm. I think that would eliminate, hey, you don't have to rebrief. The coach is there. They can tell them what to do. And then get them out on the floor, because that's a better idea than saying, oh, we're going to lift the bar in 20 minutes. That's not I wouldn't have you do that consistently, but that's why we practiced that because I knew that's what would happen.
Mhm.
I had to learn the hard way. I learned in Dubai by myself. And I also couldn't get a barbell by myself, which is another thing we had to learn, right? We had to learn how to essentially be assertive, take a platform, get what we need to do and lift.
Literally like
You
an
know?
hour before I started warming up, you just like went and you just stood there
That's
on the
what you do at
platform.
Olympic meets too. Because if you
Yeah.
don't get you cannot
I
be
only had to
timid.
share a bar with one person. It was great. And it was not a big deal. So
Nope. But the way I had to learn is I was the best lifter and lifted way more weight and didn't know when like the last time we would lift before we go out on the floor. And like I had to wait around because I couldn't get a barbell because everyone was lifting. Like I like to warm up, take longer to warm up because I have to lift so heavy and I want to make sure I'm feeling good. And then by the time like it's time to actually put on weight, like everyone's already too heavy and I can't find a bar. And then I need to get way heavier than them. And then I can't get the weights that I need because they're all shared across all these other heats that are rolling in. And like, I'm like, dude, how am I supposed to do this well? So like that's a good like learning experience. I saw some girls struggle with that. And then I think the last biggest critique is like the they didn't have the equipment that they wanted for one of the tests and they should have. And if that's not the case, change the workout. Just change it. Right. Like again, I felt like they did a lot of things really, really well. I think they could have tested some different things better. But overall, it was a good test. There's just a few like things that could have been tweaked to make it even better. And that's every test. Every test can get better. But I did like the workouts as individual workouts. I just thought, we could have added some things or taken some things away.
I feel like there wasn't like a lot of volume. Like it was, a
There was, you
run.
just are used to it.
It just did not feel like there was enough work to do.
You're crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like when I saw all the cumulative workouts, I was like, Griffin, this feels like just a
Just
Tuesday,
2 days of
Wednesday
work.
for her.
It just didn't feel like a lot of volume. And I wish there was more.
Yeah, because at the next stage, obviously, you do get more, right?
Yeah.
It's a longer competition. It gets really tough. It gets brutal. Um,
Do you think,
but
Griffin, the next age division she'll feel differently? Do you think it was just like the weights and stuff for
mm,
her that she didn't like the 16, 17-year-olds might not feel the same way?
you'll be more,
Is
yeah, she'll be a little more wrecked because of the the intensity you'll have to go to, and also the weights are different.
Mhm.
Like doing that D-ball at 100 pounds versus 70 pounds would have been entirely different, right? Like that, it's a 30% increase,
And then like
right?
what was the weight? 75 on the thrusters? The
No, I
girl?
think I think it was just 65.
I feel like it
I
was
don't think,
75.
I mean, it could have been. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's different. That would have been
Either
higher.
way, it's still, yeah, you're still moving more weight faster, or you're gonna have to move it faster. Well, you don't have to move your reps faster. You had the fastest thrusters out there. Always. I'm not letting anyone do thrusters slow. Um, but yeah, the volume isn't like going to be that much different next year. It's just the intensity and the weights that you have to move. Because you're also going to be able to do more reps next year in that time domain. You'll be fitter, so you can do more. So I mean, I think the amount of tests were fine. Um, like, but essentially the handstand walk sled workout is kind of like a floater workout in there, which is good. They should be in there. And also like you're lifting. This is different. A lot of girls are trying to PR and hit the best thing they possibly could. For you, it was like an event off, right?
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. So that's kind of what you want is you don't like you should feel like, oh, it wasn't that bad. If it is, we didn't prepare properly.
Yeah. It's true.
Griffin,
Okay.
talk a little bit about your strategy, sort of going into this season, because that was when they announced that they're taking 30 to the games. And, we kind of thought of this year going in, it would be just a building year, because originally they only took 10, and that would have been a really hard thing for Stella to do. But talk about kind of the mountain you had to climb as a coach, because there were so many holes in Stella's game, and how to balance that just overall. And then he just leaves the chat. He's like, bye.
Well, so I
Because
mean,
I think this is the way with a lot of teens, right? Like a lot of teens have major holes and they don't know how to work on getting stronger and dealing with the holes. So maybe just talk about that.
right. You gotta pick one. You gotta pick one. Or you can stick with the philosophy of what CrossFit is, which is the longevity of being able to do all of this stuff, but it takes longer to get there. So you will miss the window of the teens, right? So you've got to pick something. You got to pick something to really work on. Year one was just developing skills, just developing them, right? Learning to be able to do the skill, while we could add some like Metcon CrossFit metabolic conditioning, so you can learn how to, go fast and race. But in order to do that, you have to have the skills. So it was a lot of aerobic work, technique work on the strength side, and then work just developing those skills, right? You had to get stronger, and not by Olympic lifting. Like we had to get stronger in movement patterns, and because you're hypermobile, like that was a big thing to focus on. Year two, once they announced 30, which I'm glad that they did, not the sense that it would give like you a better chance, but I think there should be more teens involved in this sport. And I think that allows more opportunity, and the opportunity needs to be there. Otherwise, it really pushes the teens away from doing it. So I don't know if you guys remember, but when they released it to be 30, both y'all's responses were, well, that's dumb.
What? I don't think so.
Yep.
I wouldn't have said that. I would have been like,
that was the initial reaction, because it dropped a lot of the stress of feeling like you had to be in the top 10 to make it. And I said, I still think you have the ability to be in the top 10, and that is our goal. And we were really close. The biggest thing is ring muscle ups. If we go and take that event out, which you can't just take events out, but if you look at scores, you're there, right? So we had like, knowing that there was that much more of a gap, I literally looked at you and I was like, you're going to make the games. It's how well can you push yourself to increase yourself upon that leaderboard, basically, but not necessarily at the leaderboard level. It's just more so, how much better can we make you by the time we get there? And it's not just for the season, it's going to be for the longevity of what you're trying to do. So instead of being like, hey, let's just hammer all this metabolic conditioning and make you super, super fit, and not worry about like running, for instance, because you're not going to run in online competitions, but you're going to run there. So instead we changed, like I was like, look, you're not going to make it the next few years if we don't fix these glaring holes. So you're going to make it. Let's work on this. So big things we had to focus on was literally your ability to understand how to do some of these high level skills and get really good at them. So like, you had 0 strict handstand push-ups. You had 0 wall-facing strict handstand push-ups. And we had to develop the secret for you to be able to do a lot of them. And like, that was a big piece we hammered. You probably already forgot about it. Like, you probably like, oh, these are easy now, right? Like, yeah. But we spent a lot of time.
A lot of time.
So much time.
And bar muscle up Mondays. I mean, look at.
Yeah. I mean, in the open, like, I was barely.
Take 1 step forward, 7 steps back, 10 steps forward. I don't know.
I don't even know what was going on there, Stella.
And then like, I had a chicken wing for like a month.
That was longer than a month.
It was like.
Oh, it was like a whole summer. When was that?
So weird.
I don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
That was like
sometimes
January.
I just thought with things like that though, like, we'll work on it and get rid of it, but it's something up. It's something up here.
I know Griffin he's like, I'm just gonna ride this one out. Like, we're just not gonna deal with, because that's the only way, right?
There's some things I just gotta let go, and it'll change, and that's fine. Like, it's okay. You just again, being hypermobile, you're just like, I forgot how to use a certain part of my body to do what I need to do properly. And we had to backtrack on some of that stuff and then push it forward. But I knew like, hey, like we can't some of these girls do chicken wing bar muscle ups, and like, good luck getting rid of that. Like if you do start doing a million reps of that, that's the 10,000 hours thing. But like, you need to become a master of what you're doing and move the same way every single time. I don't want bad reps. I don't want you to learn to train at high intensity with bad reps. That's just going to push you to keep doing that, especially in competition. So we're not doing that. So we'll just take some of that intensity back and relearn how to do it. So I mean, there was a lot of give and take throughout the programs that I wanted to implement, but it allowed us to really get you where you needed to be by the games, and maybe not in the sense of like overall top level, top 5 fitness, right? But I honestly think though you were pretty close in the sense of CrossFit metabolic conditioning, top 7. I think that's where you're at. Some workouts like you, I think, as much as we talk about it and you believe in yourself, I think you're still surprised at how well you did on that Dball workout. Because
No,
originally you didn't like the workout at first.
before I tested it?
Yeah.
Yeah, before I tested it, and then I tested it. I'm like, I can freaking win this if I want it enough.
But I knew when I released it, I was like, golden ticket workout.
No, everybody was like, Stella, you're gonna do so good on Olympic lifting. You're gonna do so good. I'm like, y'all don't know that there's another workout that I'm gonna crush. Y'all don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Yeah.
because your coach told you that.
No,
And
it's
then you
because
did
I
it.
know how strong the girls are in like actual barbell
Oh no, I'm
lifting.
saying about the D-ball, like about how good that was for you.
Yeah, but I tested it and then I knew that I was gonna crush it.
But the point of what I'm talking about is when it first came out, you're like, nah, no, no, right? And my first thought is like, yes. And then, not unfortunately, you had to test it to know. But I already tried to tell you, like, look, you are going to kill this workout.
But I was
And
like that because I didn't know how to move a D-ball. Like I've only ever touched a D-ball last year and I didn't
I
know how to
know,
move one.
and then we worked on it.
Yeah.
I wish that would have been in the dirt for you. Like
Me too.
I feel like you would have won that event had it been in the dirt.
Yeah.
I
Something
think, all
about
right,
that.
I am not a person to make excuses. However, here's my biggest issue with the weekend. And unfortunately, this is just coming down on you. It has nothing to do with anybody else. So it sucks, but it is what it is. They false started. It was on them, not you. You did 6 reps.
Hmm.
I think, I don't know if another girl did 2, but some of them did 1. But you did 6. That is a lot of reps out of the test of 20. And then you restarted 30 seconds later,
It's because I was so locked in. I was like ready to run
which
through
is
a
good.
wall.
It's
And my
good.
my judge, she didn't notice till like 5 reps in.
We were all screaming.
And the person,
"Stop!"
I don't know who was next to me, but she was the one who'd yell at me. I heard her. She's like, Stella, stop. And I was like, what? So she was the
Yeah.
one to tell me.
Yeah. And unfortunately, again, I don't like excuses. So you did a great job overcoming that, but ultimately that affected your ability to hold on to the ball for all 20 reps. And I know that because the way your brain works, and the way my brain works too, like anybody's out there, you are confident in one test and one way of doing something, and now we've thrown in a wrinkle. And unfortunately, this wrinkle did actually affect you metabolically. So picking up that ball, it's going to get harder because by the time you had to put it down the first time because you caught it funny and it pushed you forward. That was what, rep
10.
not 9,
Yeah.
10,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, right? And if you didn't do 6 before, like that, you're already at 16. You're at 16 reps, and we're looking at volume. You're almost done. You don't put that ball down. But instead, it got you a little uneasy. You're a little tired. You're like, oh, well, this one's hard to come back from. Maybe you don't even have that wobble and you don't have a bad rep there, and there's no issue, right? So like that affected your ability to hold on to it the whole time. They should have rested at least given y'all 2 minutes before you restarted.
Yeah, but they're like, these girls just did 1 rep, and then I was over here with like 6 reps in.
Which is it's unfair, right?
Like,
And
I feel
again,
like it didn't affect me mentally. I was fine. I was like, I was just mad, and that made me madder to go, like, pick it up and crush it. But I think it did affect me physically a little bit, but definitely not mentally. I was perfectly fine with that.
Well, yes and no. I think you could have held on to the ball. I think you
Yeah,
could
I
have still
Yeah.
held on to the ball. And that's why I said I think subconsciously that one threw you off. Um, and if you didn't do those 6 reps before, you would have said, screw it, I'm hanging on to this funny rep and still going.
yeah.
And ultimately we talked about it and it was like, hey, look, I know a lot of these girls aren't thinking about doing touch and go or don't know how to do it. But whoever holds onto this ball wins the workout. And the 2 girls that went first and second were able to hold on to it, you know?
Mhm.
So like you did a really good job on that workout and you were able to manage a lot of like the skill of moving the ball properly, not rushing through it, being able to make sure you took the time to have it set on your shoulder every time. Well, so a lot of the girls in the warm up area are just trying to rip it through and then they got funny and it fell forward or backwards. And then that told them like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go touch and go. And all these things that like, a coach is supposed to help with. Um, but I think like that one, outside of obviously the false start, was probably your best executed workout. And in the sense of a mentality. Um, I think like, I mean, physically too, but for me, I'm still sitting between that one and your bar muscle up workout were your best executed workouts. I mean, you're
Mhm.
lifting, yeah, but like,
It's
I think
lifting.
whatever.
It's
yeah.
It's
whatever.
lifting.
It's lifting.
I do want to give Stella an opportunity to talk about the ring muscle up workout. Because I think you want to, and then Griffin can chime in.
I want to. Okay.
Yeah, I think you do
Um,
want to.
well,
Well, let's talk about when you got your first ring muscle up.
that was
Like 9 months ago?
October last year,
It
so
was, okay.
almost a year. It was horrible. It was nasty. I mean, I looked like a ninja when I got up there and my legs were like, you know. But I've had trouble catching it so low for so long, and we've worked on some drills where I would catch it higher, and I can get up there. I just need like the strength and to stick it, and then I can kick out of it. So I have pretty good tricep strength to get out of a really, really low dip. But I would say for that workout, it was kind of big on like the mental side of things. I had like a pretty big mental block. My ring muscle ups were fine in the warm up area. I was able to do them really well. Part of that was my lat was mad at me, and that didn't help. Um, but I think it just like I had a huge mental block out there, I think.
Did you feel a certain way when you were walking out to do that
Um,
event?
I think because I was just like, okay, enjoy this. Like, this is your last one. But I think instead of thinking that, I should have been like, okay, crush it. I was just kind of like, enjoy this and have fun. So,
Did you?
no,
No.
not with that event. I mean, I hated how I executed that. I didn't even execute at all. So, but it was fine. I mean, I did start crying after, but that was because I was upset about my ring muscle ups. And then Ruby came over to me and she started crying. And then I was done being upset about my ring muscle ups. I was just sad that it was over. Griffin, you want to chime in on how I was feeling during that? Because you probably know.
I mean, yes, there's a bunch of different things. I think there's things that you didn't even think about that I had already anticipated. Um, I so going into that event, I was confident you could do them. I think there's a couple things that really threw you out of your mental game on that. Um, One is again like your ability to adjust to something that's different on the fly. I don't know how well you noticed, but those rings were way too wide.
Yeah.
Um, so why you were gonna catch them low, but that's why you couldn't press out. They were too wide to press out.
Hmm.
So you needed to catch those higher. Now you could press out. They're just harder, and then all of a sudden, I think after your first one, that's where you completely shut down, is because you couldn't get out of it, and you almost did. You did almost get out of your first one. However, the ones in the warm up area were the same. So you were able to do that, but I think that was just step one of things. I think step two was that your lat bothering you was, I don't want to say an excuse in your brain to justify if your fear of not being able to do one in the later workout, but we were allowing to put that in your brain being like, again, this is subconscious, but you having that in the back of your mind saying, oh, well, like if it doesn't go well, like my lat doesn't feel good. And it's not like, that's not me saying like you did a bad job it's just something that naturally happens. And like you said, instead of just going out and having fun, that's kind of like the third step, which you can have fun. But it was, I'm going to just let go of the stress, which you should. But it was almost a carefree feeling instead of, I'm going to go smoke these ring muscle ups and then I'm going to have fun doing it. Right. It still needed to be that attack mentality. And I still believe like you could get out and do one, but I think the culmination of those things, and then also like you did rope climbs that day, right? You did a bunch of thrusters that day. You fully sent a D-ball workout that day. And the intensity of all of that, and then also doing the rings at the end of the weekend now made them even harder. So the combination of like your step back mentally, your lat being a little funny, and then, not being as in attack mode, plus the rings being a little wider. And then now you're even more tired and you hit your first one and you're like, oh no, I can't get out. I think that really just kind of set the snowball effect. And these are all things that I had anticipated to potentially happen. Not that I wanted them to, but like you said, in the warm-up area, they were fine, right? Because I think you were still locked in and you needed to be like, I need to make sure these are good here so they're good out there. And then you and Ruby started playing rock, paper, scissors for 30 minutes. Really helped kind of try to relieve the stress of what could or could not happen out there. But I think that I didn't know if that was going to help you be more relaxed and be more like, I'm good and I'm in my zone, or if that was going to let you take a step back. And I think next time, I think that's fine, but you get like 5 minutes to do that. And then we have to relock in.
Yeah,
I think she's better when she tweaks out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We
no,
learned that when you get.
Yeah, I think for that workout, instead of being like, it would be different if I was going relaxed into, I don't know, like the
Olympic
thruster
lifting,
workout
right?
or the Olympic lifting. I could, be fun and I don't have to be all like, oh, I'm going to crush this. But I think next time, if there's any ring muscle ups, I need to be fully locked in and I need to be like, I'm going to crush this, because I think like just me being relaxed and carefree, I wasn't carefree, but a little bit, I think that does not help with my power output into the rings.
No, I think it's important for you to have that when you're done, right when you're done working out, to decompress. But then when it's time to be competitive, we got to be competitive, because the one thing that you actually do really well, which a lot of people need, and it's hard to make it happen, is when you actually believe, like truly, like it's a fact in your brain about something, you smoke it.
Yeah.
But when there's doubt, which is like everybody that has doubt, that can really crumble how you mentally perceive things and how you attack things. And like with ring muscle ups, that was not the time to kind of have that. Needed to be like, I believe 100%. And it's not like even like a fake, like you truly just like, I'm doing this, right? When you have that mentality, you crush stuff. You did that on the bar muscle up workout. You did that on the lifting event. You did that on the D-ball event.
I did it on the run too, while we were standing there at the start line for 10 minutes.
Did it on the run. You could even run harder because you ran across the finish line jumping for joy, and the other girls are face planted in the dirt.
Dude, after that, I was like,
But you did your percentage of time, did the math, was 50% faster running than you did last year, which isn't like a real number. That's like that's not real, but it is 50% faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like that was, I guess, to talk, like, I guess that kind of goes back to the other point of training this past off season, or in season. We made a very conscious decision to talk about, hey, look, like I know there's certain things that we need to work on, but ultimately you need to become a runner. You need to become a good runner, and you need to believe that you are a good runner. So we started creating doing all of this running mechanics and teaching you how to run, not just running, right? We didn't just go out and run a bunch. We literally spent a lot of time learning how to run. And what does that do outside of like, hey, you're going to have to run at the games a ton. That's going to increase your ability in fitness and CrossFit. Like it's a great transfer over. But the bigger thing I think outside of that was just you going and doing that event and being able to attack the workout and not just be happy to be there or take like, or like I didn't take last, I took one less, you know, like you actually attacked the workout. And now you believe in yourself and the whole weekend should go better because you are like, all right, I'm off on a good foot. I got way better at something. I'm like super positive about this. And now I really believe like I belong here. So like that was really something I knew, fortune telling or not, a long time ago that I needed you to be able to do. So it was good. It really set off your weekend pretty well.
And I know just from where I sat and seeing all the work you've put in, but like Griffin and Stella, as far as the running and the bar muscle ups and like, you know, we had a crowd of people with us and they were excited about the Dball event. They were excited about the lifting event. But to me, it was that like I got tears in my eyes when you rounded the corner on the run and you were like in 19th. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's doing it. And then when you did your bar muscle up workout and you just executed and, you know, you had a no rep and you didn't let it get to you. It just like those two events for me, it was like, oh, and everyone's like, why are you crying? And I'm like, because you don't know how good this was for her. Like, and it is those personal, and Griffin, you did an amazing job going into this, telling Stella, like, this is about her executing all the work y'all done. And so she did that amazing, you know, I think most of the weekend, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
across the board, people have asked me like, how did Stella do? And I don't answer, she took 17th. I answer, she did. There are good things, really, really good things. And there are some things we need to work on, which again, putting a weekend together perfectly doesn't really happen. It does like very, very minimally, but even Fraser is going to tell you like he could have done better on even when he swept everybody. So across the board, like you got better except for one event.
And
right?
there was like some small rookie mistakes, but you know.
But honestly, they were very limited. Your progress from what we worked on, you executed. I have a grading sheet that I'm going back and through and grading a lot of the stuff you did on. But you executed the majority of everything we needed to work on. And like your mom said, like the bar muscle up workout, one big thing that really made it different wasn't just how well you attacked the workout, but your judge sucked.
Dude.
Like your judge sucked. Like I hate that. It is a thing. It happens. There's bad refs in sports, but he sucked.
She gave me
She
so many reps that were good reps. Like it like so
right.
many reps.
Yes, there was one toe bar and one wall ball that for sure. Yes.
Like from the audience, you could see like you had your feet.
My toes.
I was like, there's one.
I could see the ball touch from where I was sitting because I was on the other side. Like this lady's insane.
But
she was in
gave
a very
me no
bad
reps on the wall balls. I think about 8 or 6 to 8 reps on
really that many, Stella?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell from where we were.
And then probably 6 reps on the toes to bar that were no reps.
Yep.
One on bar muscle.
The toes to bar no reps were making me crazy because I know when you miss your toes, it's always that right leg doesn't quite make it. And there was
right
only
toe
one.
Was so bruised after that event because I was just like whack, whack, whack.
Yeah. I mean, you overcame your fear of like the pull-up bar. So we worked on how many different pairs of grips you had to figure out to make you comfortable. But again, like all athletes are the same on that. Like you got to make sure you have the right grips. Otherwise, if you're slipping the whole time, like now your entire strategy, it changes and you can't attack the workout. So like that was a big moment for you. And then like overcoming the adversity of your judge, you not getting negative in your mind and we're able to still keep attacking bar muscle ups, right? And we've worked on how to do big sets. We've worked on how to do fast singles and like trying to get you to believe like I might be tired, but I can still turn over this bar, right? And you started out like we worked on a little bit more conservative, a little bit slower. The workout becomes the first set of bar muscle ups and getting back to the next set of bar muscle ups and getting as many as you can. And you started out a little bit behind everybody, but it was the smartest choice. And then you actually passed a bunch of them because you were able to do that really well, which is great.
Stella,
Like,
your dad was like, go faster. Like he was,
Dude,
and I was like, I told him, I
on
was like,
the echo
shut
bike
up, there's
too.
a plan. Yeah, because he
I
was,
mean, I
he
should have gone faster on
because
the
you
echo
were
bike,
like
it was
real
just like,
chill. You know, you came out of that workout out of the gate like real chill, and he was like, she's got to go. And I'm like, dude, we got it.
like I was doing 6 reps on the wall balls. It worked well for me, you know.
Like it's a crazy world where I'm the calm one in the crowd.
And we train doing sets of 20 to 30 wall balls all the time
with a
unbroken.
20-pound wall ball.
Yep.
2.
Yeah. Because again, the workout was bar muscle ups and and managing your power output when you get there. Like at different stages, the workout's different, right? Like if you're 20 years old, we're going to approach that workout differently. So like it just depends on working with what you have at the time. And that was the best strategy for you. So I mean, yeah, your overall weekend, like you attacked well. I mean, we could go through each one. Like there's a lot of there's positives and negatives to honestly each workout, right? And there's a lot more positive than there is negative. And then we want negative. We want cons. We want something to work on. We don't want things to go perfectly flawlessly. The only thing that really did was your lifting event.
Yeah.
But also like
it's 4 lifts. Doesn't matter.
There's not a lot of unknowns in that. We know exactly how to go about it. I mean, the other girls had unknowns. They didn't know what they were going to lift. They didn't know how long they had to rest between lifts. They didn't know any of that stuff, right? But you know, like that's what experience helps with, and making sure those things are as concrete as possible, right? So, I mean, the con on the lifting, we got to get stronger. Like
I haven't done a freaking strength cycle, and I've never done an official one in years.
You started one and then you fell off the pull-up bar.
Oh yeah, and then my back hurt, and then I didn't.
And that was it.
It
and
was like 2
and like
weeks.
Griffin's like had you squat a little and you lift like once a week. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens when you actually.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had to fix your toe heel issue.
Oh yeah.
On Olympics. So that's really what we like hammered in. I was like, your lifts are strength wise are fine. So let's make these really strong and pretty. So then when we go hit a strength cycle, we don't have to keep trying to fix that, and we can hammer in the strength. And you'll progress much faster. So yeah, you will be lifting more. It's in your sheet already for next week.
Turn up.
Yeah.
Finally.
So, yeah, just because we have to make the jump for some strength stuff for next season. Like you don't have as far to go as most girls, but we want to still have an advantage in that next category. But also you've seen what the level of strength is, and we got to get close. So, because she still finished second.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Griffin, do you like coaching a teenager? Would you like more teenagers, or is Stella all you can handle?
Most days. Yeah. I mean, it's different. I do enjoy it. I like helping and developing athletes at a young age. I'll never say I'm the best coach in the world, but I will also advocate that I am a very good one. And I don't like the word good. I would say great, but I want to keep myself humble. But
I think you're a great coach, Griffin.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I know I have a lot to offer for a lot of young athletes and even older athletes. More so than, I mean, this is a made up number, but 95% of the other coaches at CrossFit, just because of the experience, the background that I come from, and that I've learned and that I continue trying to learn. I don't just coach and say, oh, that's it. You know, like if I don't know something, I go find out. And if I can't find out, I'm going to ask the smartest person I know in that area to help them tell me. And then I'm going to also study it to understand it better. And there are coaches in the space that do that, but there aren't a lot. And obviously those are the ones that you see that are doing a really good job with these athletes that have developed them, not just taken them and said, hey, look at me, I got a fancy, shiny new athlete. Right. So it's fun. It's an exciting opportunity. It gives me joy when I like help someone achieve the things that they want to do just as much as it is when I do it myself. So we want more teen athletes. Let's do it, because then we can give more athletes for Stella to have fun with.
Well, and I have a huge basement that I'm installing 12 bunk beds to run a summer camp out of my home. You can all come live here this summer.
Not a sweatshop.
Not a sweatshop.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, at night you might have to sew some clothing, but it's fun.
You got to make bracelets. Yeah.
I will say that one of the things that I enjoyed watching Griffin and Stella is just there were certain things that Stella couldn't do or had
a lot.
hole. And Griffin would look and like I would see his face like
he'd be like
what are we getting like, and then he'd come back the next week and there would be a new exercise on the the training plan, and then you were always looking for a solution and you're always looking for a way to really fix any issues you see, and I think that's what makes you such a good coach. And I saw a lot of the Olympic lifting at the games, and I told Griffin, I was like, you need to get your hands on like
all of these,
not all, but a lot of these teen athletes to help them and also to develop better movement patterns so they're not crappy masters lifters someday. But I just think, Griffin, you're an incredible coach, and you've done just amazing things with Stella, and you're very empathetic and not so much when you need to not be. You're not overly like, when to break hard and when to let it go. And that's important. I think especially for teenagers.
Yeah. I would say I'm definitely, it's funny. I'm the more emotional probably person in my family. And that's not saying we're not a very emotional family. I mean, my mom is, but like on the male side, but it's challenged me to coach differently and being empathetic is one thing. But just trying to understand the 15-year-old female psychology a little bit more.
Yep. It's tough.
Oh, but it's a good time. It prepares me for parenthood.
Lots of girls.
Yeah. Oh, if it is, it is. Golfers and CrossFitters, probably.
Stella, do you have any other questions for Griffin? I don't want to keep him all day.
I don't know. What time do we got?
Whatever you got, it's fine. All I have left to do is work out today.
Okay.
So.
Me too. I have to run.
Well, I still also have to coach a class, and then I have to coach a bunch of high school lacrosse boys. But whatever,
Ooh,
that's
rough.
They were actually asking about you yesterday. Yesterday, yeah.
Stop.
Who? Let's cut this part out.
I don't know. They're just a bunch
of them. Take a picture of the one tonight.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't say one. It was like a group of them, just all of them. How about that? It's all of them.
That's weird because I only know like 4 of them.
They know
well, you also went to the games. How many other kids at your school went to the games? How many more kids in Georgia or in the Southeast went to the games?
I don't know, but I don't talk to people at school.
Okay, but you're also strong and like bigger than most girls that walk in, and you look different. So they're like, "Who's that?"
It's Stella.
That should be the intro to the podcast.
It's Stella.
It's a Stella. From Lots for Kids.
Yeah. I don't know. You're going to become popular.
That's weird because people don't talk to me.
They might be afraid to talk to you.
Just talk to me.
Why don't you talk to a rough face? I don't mean a rough face, but your face is not welcoming. You know what I'm saying? When you're just like somewhere, you're like that face.
That's true.
That one right there.
That was the face you had the whole time. My camera wouldn't work. I could see it the whole time. Yeah. You've clearly practiced that because it was there for at least 10 minutes.
It's because what?
Do you have any questions for a coach?
Okay. If you could have like a theme song, what would it be?
Oh no. It's not PC. It's a Rick Ross song.
Explain.
What's the edited version? Can't Hold Me Back, I think, or Hold Me. Yeah, it's Hold Me Back
That's your
by
that's your
Rick Ross.
at life song when you walk in the room.
It's a lot of Rick Ross songs. Yeah,
How about you,
yeah.
Mom?
Probably Everybody Hurts.
I also you could go the other route if you want to go. Like, I guess I got decade different ones, right? So like that would be like the 21st century one. Um, right now by Van Halen for the rock era.
Oh, that's a good one.
Uh-huh.
No. Or
Or
Do you know that song, Stella?
I don't. I bet if you played it, I would.
which we can't do on the
Ugh.
podcast. You know it. I made a
Just send
reel
it
to
to
it
me
one
later.
time. I'm pretty sure
Just
it's on
send the
here.
song to me later.
I'll text it to you right now.
Okay. Let's see. Questions. Where did you come from?
My mom?
Sports. Sports-wise, what'd you do? Keep it short, because I know you can just blah 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 about
Keep
football.
it short.
So talk.
Where did I come from? Like what in like
Like
what
sports background.
Oh. I played every sport but baseball. But my main sports
Bro
were
even did ballet and tap.
I did. I did ballet and tap dance as a young child.
I'm gonna
Um,
need to reach out to Katie and get
We
some
need
video.
some photos.
go for it. Apparently, I couldn't stop tap dancing around the house when I got my first tap shoes. So I'm pretty sure there's an old like V8, like old recorder somewhere of it.
That would be amazing.
I'm pretty sure she has something like that. Yeah. I mean, I was on the football field as it like before I could walk, and then once I could walk, I was just running around with the football team, and then I would do the conditioning stuff with them. So I'd be running sprints and hills and stuff, and just laughing my ass off, and all the people like all that like high school kids were dying and just getting pissed at me because I'm just this 3-year-old kid doing sprints, and just thinking it's hilarious. Um, yeah, and then even when we moved over from California to here, I would do the same thing when he was coaching at Marist High School. And I still remember all the hills we would do. But yeah, I mean, I played football, I played lacrosse and basketball like seriously. But I had to switch to like lacrosse from basketball once I got to middle school, just because the schedules were just super overlapping. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's really, and then I played that for a very long time. I almost played in the NFL, which I still feel like I can right now. Uh, and I did play college lacrosse as well, along with football. But that was on the hush hush. They didn't want me playing two sports, and I just did it anyway. Um, it was fun. Lacrosse is a lot of fun, but football was my main thing. Um,
Why don't we get you to the NFL? That would be fun.
yeah.
How does one go to the NFL at this stage?
You don't. That's the thing. Is like you don't. Like kind of like once it's over, it's over. Like really, it is. Like that's just what it is. There's not a way back into it. There's not. It's not like soccer where there's like other like levels to work your way back up. It's just like that's it. Bye. So, so yeah.
You should go
That's
back into
what it is.
ballet.
I don't. I'm no. I'm not flexible enough anymore. I'm still flexible, but not like I
You
was.
do tap dancing.
No. I
You know how
like became a
small those
cynic.
shoes would look.
My first girlfriend like broke up with me, and then I became a cynic, so I hated dancing ever since.
Trauma dump.
That was in 7th grade, so yeah, been a while.
Huh. They're probably just jealous of your hair. Actually, you didn't have long hair back then.
Nope, short hair, shaved
What is your
head.
hair routine? That's a question.
Nothing.
There's not one.
Right.
Just
Right.
and he rarely brushes his hair.
True.
Yeah, I know. I bought you a hairbrush for your birthday one time.
I use it
Yeah.
rarely,
Once a
but I
month.
do use it.
So what does
Yeah,
the
I
off
know.
season look like?
For Stella or for me?
Well, let's talk about you. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what do you do with
Me.
your life?
What do you do with
What
your life?
I work. I work a lot. Um, well, currently trying to make this team solidified for next season, assuming CrossFit is still going to keep the consistent structure that it has in the past, which is a poor assumption because it changes so often. But team stuff. So I got back into training last week. This week it's been like a lot of hard, rough stuff. So, um, yeah. So I'm trying to get that done. So trying to balance that out with a lot of coaching and working, and traveling a lot, which I like all of it. It's all good. Obviously, I have to still coach these lacrosse kids and do strength and conditioning, and I enjoy doing that. So a have to is the wrong word, but that's just what keeps coming out of my mouth. Um, but yeah, I'm not done competing. I'm still, I'm still too prepared to be able to stop doing it. I don't think I really ever want to stop competing because I'm just a competitor. Um, I like competing in things, but I think I also want to join some club sport somewhere, but I don't think they want me to.
You should do dodgeball.
Sure. You know what? There's no better feeling than taking a dodgeball and hit a 13-year-old kid in the face with it.
I feel like you would take the fun out of any sort of club sport.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
It
Yeah,
would just
I
be
would.
like
I'm
this
like,
guy again.
it's just something with like when I have to go against other people on a team, I'm just a different person. I don't
Look
know
at
what to tell
Stella's
you.
face. That's the face. That face.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they don't want me. I want to join the men's lacrosse league, but you got to be 35. So I'm not there yet.
No,
Oh
And it's probably
no.
it's a good thing because I'd end up actually turning somebody into dust. Yeah.
yeah.
They don't have people that are in shape like me playing that. So
It's probably good
um
you do CrossFit instead of anything involving balls.
well, I mean probably. Yeah. I mean, yes, at one point in this career I was one of the fittest people on this planet. So me playing a sport I'm really good at that level is probably not a good idea. Yeah, but yeah, that my off season's a lot of work and a lot of getting myself back into shape, and balancing all of that. So, and traveling to coach. Like I'm gonna head down to Pensacola in a couple weeks just to coach, not competing. Um, do have grid stuff. I always seem to forget that for some reason. So I got to go to Vegas for that. Then I got to travel to Arizona for another competition I'm just coaching at. So it's a lot of off season coaching. I don't like to mix them. I like to coach or compete, one of the two. So competing is less often. I enjoy the coaching aspect, and I think a lot of my athletes enjoy that having a coach there to help. But your off season, we got to do
Dun, dun,
we
dun.
got to do one qualifier.
Yeah, we're doing
Which
the Atlantic Coast Classic one. In
for the fittest of the coast.
Fittest of the Coast
that one.
is the
Same,
one I
same.
registered you for.
There's like yeah, same thing.
Yeah, yeah. So we got to do that one. And then which that competition is in February.
February, January.
It's the beginning of the February. So it's a little tune up before the open starts.
Yeah.
But really it'll be like a tune up. We'll deload a little and then we'll kind of ramp yourself up into your season. And then we got to get stronger and we've got to work on a lot of these gymnastics and we ain't getting rid of running. Sorry.
It's
Um,
fine.
Too much progress. I want you to become an actual runner. Where you're like, I like running.
I mean, I don't
Or at
hate
least-
it.
Yeah, like good. You used to hate it. You used to hate running.
Hated it.
But
I also want to like go to the games next year and be like Stella Atwood in second for the running event.
I mean, we could do it, but we're just gonna
I
have to
mean,
run
probably not, but like
here.
Stella Atwood in eighth in a running event? What? Be like, yep, I'm a runner. That's what they call me. That's what they
What's that song? That's gonna be your theme song for next year. She's a runner. She's a track star.
She's a runner. She's
Yeah.
a track star.
I am. Yeah,
So
I don't.
we'll make a hype video for that.
That's what they call me.
So they
What
call
is it
me
they call you? The runner.
the runner of the sport. I don't just lift really heavy. I'm also a runner.
That's good. That's what we want.
The whole thing of CrossFit.
We're
be
also
like
going to work
TR.
on a lot of. We're going to work on a lot of sellies for sure. Off season.
My celebrations are good.
Oh yeah, can we please insert when you edit this the video of Dave Chappelle?
Oh my god.
We don't have that one. The one where I went, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I know,
purposely
but you
did
could
that
just-
after the
that was
thruster.
that was your celebration.
What was the skit? Dave Chappelle, what? If I Google this.
I just type in Dave Chappelle senator and then just like write in Beyond.
Bia?
Beyond.
Yeah. It will pick it up, I promise. There's nothing else you can research. It just
Oh my
pops up on
gosh.
YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
What's on TikTok now? All over the
Oh
place.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it, Maine? That's probably wrong.
How
He's
is
probably
one
not.
supposed to work on her celebrations?
Oh, research. We got to do a lot of research.
What is your celebration?
He doesn't
Already.
celebrate.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Only in grid. Only in grid. Mine's just
You have not done that in like years.
2 years. Yeah.
What did you do in Dubai after the lifting event? Did you bow?
No,
That's a
you
good
just-
question. I don't know what I did.
No, you just threw the bar down and walked away.
Probably. That's probably because I thought it was so stupid to do one lift. Yeah. That's
Yeah. You just were
probably
like,
true.
ugh.
And then nobody wants to post a video of a dude that just lifts something heavy and then walks
No,
off like a jackass.
seriously. They did not post that video and they should have.
Not my fault. I didn't celebrate during football either. Like I basically just gave the ball back to the ref because the defeat on everyone's face was good enough.
I like your sellies, Stella. Don't ever change.
I mean, I purposely did that after the thruster event. I went,
Oh,
yeah.
yours is this now. You do that.
Yeah. With a little bit
Twice.
of F-bomb.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
guys, I don't cuss, okay? It just comes out when I am excited.
Apologies
Mhm,
to
mhm.
all the people on the front row.
Apologies to the parents that were right in front of my
Not
lane.
like you were saying it at them.
I went,
If you just pointed them out and screamed it at them, then it's different.
That'll be next year.
but yeah.
I'm literally like 10 rows back. I go, oh no, Stella.
Apologies to the parents and the little children that were in front of my lane. Apologies.
Yeah.
Well.
We got to work on the worm. Yep, we got to teach you how to do that. But you said you wanted to learn how to go backwards,
Yeah, I do.
so we can do that. Might help your burpees.
What's wrong
And
with my
instead of handstand
burpees?
walking, you got to worm for like 100 feet.
Ouch.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait for the 3:30 class to roll in while that's going on.
Like, did Stella does she need to go to an insane asylum or what's going on?
Stella's psycho.
Don't. She had a bad day at school. Just let her do her thing. This is how she gets it out.
I mean, I roll on the floor most of the time when I'm like going insane.
Yeah,
If I just
it
want to
helps.
eat all the time, I'll just roll on the floor. It helps.
It helps with your sensory. Like if you're sensorily overloaded or need,
Yeah,
you can just roll on the
just like,
floor. That's what they tell addicts. They tell us like, if you're struggling, just roll on the floor. Because you just need a sensation. It doesn't even matter what it is.
Do you like roll in a blanket like a pig in a blanket?
No,
We
I
have this
prefer not
rug in
to.
the
I don't like
floor.
to get trapped in something. So like a blanket is. I know.
Your brother would
I
like
see.
that.
You don't like to be trapped in things. Got it.
Yeah.
Thought you already knew that.
I do now.
We know
Makes
that.
sense.
Oh,
What is that
Bless.
supposed to mean?
Nothing.
nothing.
We should probably end this podcast. We're just talking about nonsense now.
That's true. All right. Do you have any other? Oh, Griffin, if someone wants to find you, where do they find you? Not your address, but
In the street 953. No. Instagram CrossFit Thor, or you can look at Blacklisted on like blacklistedhq.com. Either way is probably the best. My TikTok presence is garbage.
Yep. Doesn't even respond to my TikToks I send him.
No, I don't.
You can't start. Don't ever respond.
That's a millennial thing. I don't know what to tell you. We just don't respond. We just send people things and never respond.
Yeah.
And then it's real. It's a real thing. Or you can walk into Dball and find Stella or me or Meredith
Yeah. Meredith.
and abruptly tell us what you want.
With the gun
People
to
will
our
come
heads.
rolling in. They'll be like, Meredith, just who we were looking for.
Yes.
No. Said no,
And that's
whatever.
when you just exit out the back door.
And come
Yeah.
up to me. I'm actually nice. Ignore my resting bee face.
Your resting Stella face.
My resting Stella face. I'm actually a great, nice person. Unless you're
You
mean
are.
to me.
Stella, anything you want to say to Griffin?
No. I talked to him enough.
Fair enough.
Well, we
Gotta
are
work on
very
your roast.
appreciative of Griffin.
Yep.
Couldn't have made it without you. That's for sure.
Cheers to year 3/year 2 of the games.
Better get on that barefoot treadmill walking. Peace out.
Peace.
King of the jungle, heart of a lion. 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch out, here I come. This is my time.